Hi everyone, I'm Michael from The Divide,
And I'm Dylan.
and today we're going to be reacting to Daredevil Season 1, Episode 3.
Yes.
I'm not too sure what the title of this episode is. It might
I
be...
did just see it, I cannot remember
Rabbit
it.
in the Snowstorm?
Yep, I was going to say bunny. I was going to say bunny, but yeah, it's rabbit.
That's just my knowledge of Daredevil coming in clutch.
Yep.
Yeah, so in the last episode we ended with the famous hallway fight.
Badass scene where he rescued the child that was stolen illegally, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Kidnapped.
yeah, that's the word for it. Kidnapped in the first episode, so he got sort of vengeance on, well, not fully vengeance, I mean vengeance for that would probably be killing them, but you know, that's not his way.
Took back the kid from the Russians, essentially. We met Claire.
Yeah, or Rosario Dawson as I'll refer to her until I can fully remember her name all the time.
So I'll call her Claire.
Yeah, so Claire, yep.
So we met Claire.
Yeah, I liked her introduction to the character. I thought she was quite helpful, obviously, to Daredevil and his pursuit to rescue the child and to save some parts of the city. I massively liked the tangent of Karen and Foggy.
Yeah.
Yep.
They went out.
Of them painting the town and sort of seeing different parts of it. And sort of refaced Karen's, you know, faith in the city, I guess, a little bit.
Kind of foggy given.
Yeah, and then as Michael tries to catch a fly. Sorry about that. And then they knocked on Matt's door. He wasn't there, obviously. He was out probably. I think he was dying at that point. Yeah. And then the guy knocked on the door. I don't remember what faction that guy was from. Was it the Russians or was it just?
Yeah, he was working for the Russians.
Right. Okay.
Just to give you a little bit of background on Claire, because we're not going to be watching like Jessica Jones and like all the other Marvel shows.
Okay.
She basically appears in all of those shows essentially as she always seems to find herself in the situation where she's helping like heroes.
So she's the medic of the DC or
the
Marvel.
God damn it!
Sorry. I got confused there for a second. So the Marvel universe, she's kind of like the nurse, is it?
Not of the Marvel universe, but of these kind of low street kind of heroes in the Netflix shows. She helps out Daredevil, Luke Cage. She even appears in Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and then
we're definitely not going through all those shows to catch up to.
But you'll have to watch the Defenders, which.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind watching some of them for sure. I know that did Luke Cage get cancelled, I believe.
Yeah, they all got cancelled.
Yeah. I know Jessica Jones actually got some good ratings, so I wouldn't be
Jessica Jones is good, but
totally opposed to watching
Punisher's amazing, but she's not in the Punisher. But Punisher is amazing.
Punisher, that is definitely something that I would love to watch.
Yeah, we won't do a reaction of the Defenders, but you would just have to like watch it.
I can watch it on one time or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to see just more of the story develop. Really, sort of we never got a lot of interactions between Matt and Karen and Matt and Foggy. So I'm excited them the band back together and see. Maybe even the lawyer side, I don't know if that will maybe come into it, if there's going to be sort of, not necessarily trials or stuff, but just maybe, some context to stuff that's happening.
Also, we never had any of like Wesley. And
Yeah, I'm excited to see sort of his abilities outside of maybe just talking to people, if he's got any fighting abilities maybe. I'm not sure if he does or not.
We've not seen the big bad of the season yet.
Yeah, still thinking it's obviously Fisk. I think that's pretty obvious, I think, for like the call, but I'll go with that until I've got a sort of more congruent sort of, person in mind, or maybe we see someone, that's...
Well, we're getting on now, we're on episode 3, so we're getting through the season pretty fast.
Yeah, so there's 10 episodes, 13?
13 episodes. So there's no filler, there's none of that. We get right to the point, every episode's great, so let's get into this one.
Yep. Yeah, I mean... Jeez.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah. Messed with the wrong guy.
No. He handled the other guys without There you go.
Yeah, this guy means business.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no. Oh my god, the bone is sticking out. That's one of my worst fears.
Ouch. It's the 7 as well. A bowling ball right to the head. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, right, he's dead, like.
Just trying to throw.
Yeah, I mean, just out of anger. Exactly.
Hiding the gun. Didn't even use it, to be fair, but...
No, fingerprints just all the same.
Now they just send his wife with him.
Yeah, so you can see he's kind of an old school guy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Some fights will just get you bloody.
Clearly try to look out for him, probably been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I just love the dialogue in this show is so good. That's one of my favourite kind of
Elements.
Yeah, it's my favourite element, but that scene there, one of my favourites of probably this season, honestly, in terms of dialogue.
Jesus, what happened to your eye?
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah,
He's got an excuse though, right? Being
just wasn't paying
being
attention.
blind.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need a dog?
And he uses it.
I would too, I mean,
What? You don't like dogs? Who doesn't like dogs?
I love
yeah,
dogs.
exactly.
Everybody loves dogs.
Something wrong with you if you don't like dogs.
In my line of work, I find
Matt's clearly not bought by the
what is
story.
that line of work exactly?
What my
Yeah, he's not
partner
buying the
is
act
trying
for
to
obvious
say is-
reasons.
Is for you to continue to be ethical, decent men, good lawyers,
Yeah, okay.
and for that, for clientele, do they
Don't doubt it
all
for a second.
end up working for you after you get them off for murder, or just the pretty ones?
Ouch.
Awkward.
You give us a minute, please.
Wouldn't care if you could see the zeros on this check.
Yeah, maybe you would if you couldn't.
We're running out of
I'll
time.
meet you there.
Meet me. Where the hell are you going?
I get
Matt!
Foggy's side as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He doesn't have any insider knowledge of
No,
what's
but-
actually going
You
on.
know, he's not doing anything wrong by his knowledge structure, right?
And Wesley, by all means, hasn't done anything wrong either, that they know of.
Yeah.
But Matt obviously suspects something.
I mean, with his hearing right, it seems.
He's following him using the watch as well.
So we saw
There's
his.
a big white hand there.
Yeah. There's more looking at the cufflink. Yeah, doesn't look good in a white shirt.
Crushed the deceased skull with a bowling ball.
Self-defense.
Not quite.
Yeah, don't know about that.
Whatever.
They threatened you how? Verbally, physically?
Which sounds better?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
They threatened me both verbally and physically.
Yeah, just throw it all in, right?
Dick with a side of who gives a shit.
This is a real story.
Yeah, and it's gonna end the same as it always
Jesus.
does. A bunch of fat old.
Yet we could be the ones to connect the dots.
It doesn't sell papers, Ben. Not anymore.
Yeah. That hurt the ego.
Rumors bubbling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hell's Kitchen. Finally get a subway line? Come on. We tell that every year.
And every year it kills.
For a fluff piece, the people in this building wrote the hell out of the news.
Stand up for your story, man.
We know. Underwear.
Yeah, it must be difficult.
Yeah.
Hanging on by
It's a
a
dying. It's kind of a dying.
No, it's definitely
career.
Yeah, people.
Together we'll confront the charges honestly, openly, and within the moral confines of the law.
Wonder if they've bowled in the prison.
No.
He does look out of place though in that fancy
Oh, yeah.
suit.
I got next.
And for any stress these events may have caused.
Stress. Someone tried to kill me.
She's basically getting her silent spot.
Yeah.
Involvement with that individual or claim legal responsibility for his actions.
He has to do it to protect the
Do you
company.
feel it's their
Makes sense.
non-binding
Sucks though.
This lawyer does such a good job, like the actor playing such a cold-hearted kind of corporate lawyer who's
Yeah.
just paying someone off.
Put it all behind
It's kind of the best of what she can get with.
Yeah, it's just cold on.
But
on
is
the
it worth? Is the money worth our freedom of what she wants to? Our freedom of speech, really. She can't speak about it if she signs it. So, can she be bought or not?
I think it's more about the safety if she signs it rather than the money, right?
She had a good day.
Yeah?
She was up half an hour. Asked about you.
Only up half an hour, it doesn't sound. But if
That's like- yeah, if that's a good day,
Yeah,
then.
then what's up?
You can kind of grasp the situation.
She's probably been in the hospital for quite a long time, I'd imagine. But
Will be not guilty.
Yeah, this is our first proper bit of lawyering, like actually in the.
no, I'm glad we've got some stuff.
And I have a few
Just a nice
comments that I want you to consider.
gesture from that.
If you should
Yeah, he does have a little bit of an advantage in the courtroom. You can hear all the jurors and
Yeah, I mean,
grasp for what way they're leaning.
that person's clearly bought off or something, or scared of him.
Or seemingly, yeah. Seemed to be when he came in, our heart rate
Yeah.
elevated. I like how they keep going back to the watch as well. It's his, like, hold on to
Timing piece.
Wesley. Like, that's how he knows it's Wesley,
Yeah.
because of the watch.
I said stay down.
I mean, I just say that at this point.
What do
And
you have on her?
wonder if they've got anybody else.
So scathing the way he looks. It looks past you.
Yeah.
Music trickling up as well.
What the hell is he doing?
Delineation between the two is a sharp line. Sometimes it's a blur. And often it's like pornography. You just know when you see it.
Nice line, yeah.
A man is dead.
Did you really like that? Or
Those are the facts. Based
good,
on
good defence here.
Yeah, it's
Good
such
defence.
an interesting like conversation, and I love the way he's arguing it.
Yeah.
My client was not acting solely in self-defense, and those, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are the facts. That beyond these walls, he may well face a judgment of his own making. But he
Shows.
Probably couldn't have went better.
What I'm saying, like the dialogue, like how crisp was that?
It was very good.
The ideas of like morality and what's right and wrong. I think that's actually such an interesting conversation.
It's been debated for years, yeah. Philosophy. Really interesting.
And the way like Matt thinks of it and puts it out there to the jury as well. He uses it. I think it's brilliant. You can clearly see he's a very, very good lawyer as well.
No, for sure.
They just opened shop and they're completely clean. Say that about any of
Yeah, now it makes sense why he went to them, totally.
Yeah.
But I thought might have been something more nefarious, but
Complete opposite.
yeah,
He just doesn't realise.
yeah,
Too much light shining on this.
coincidental.
I can't move on.
I can't help you.
Sort of conversation.
Union Allied? They offered me money.
And I told him that whatever it was, he had a responsibility to do something about it.
Guilty conscience there. Even though it wasn't our
I figured I'd have
fault.
a couple of years before I
Yeah.
explain that part to my kids. Already signed.
He's got a family to be fair.
Yeah, I mean it's her choice at the end of the day. It's she can do what she
Do you
wants.
have anyone that you care
I don't
about?
really
I mean,
if she wants or not.
the money can help the kids at least. There's that watch again.
Yep.
They're hung.
Metaphor person.
She's sending him back in. Still split.
Right, so this is obviously why he was so confident within the
Well, hey,
box.
Mr. Healy, that was a hell of a speech you gave Murdoch. It's a hell of a speech.
Yeah, because obviously Mr. Healy is very good at fighting as
Yeah.
well, as we've seen. I love this stuff so much. Another example of just amazing fight scenes and choreography in this show.
Yeah.
There's been at least one every episode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is probably one of my favourite fights so far.
Yeah, it's probably
Much more technical and
the most competitive one, I'd say.
they're going back and forward, yeah, 1v1.
There we go.
There's your name.
Yep.
He always sounds like Batman when he says it.
Yeah, I did notice that a tiny bit there, but
I gave up his name. You don't do that, not to him.
yeah, I mean he's scared of.
I'm way more afraid of Fisk than he is of.
100%. He's probably seen more what Fisk can do.
Make an example. You coward.
Oh my god. Jesus. Easier way out, I guess.
I wouldn't call it that easy. Although that looks terribly painful, it only lasts like a
Yeah,
second or two.
exactly.
And you probably wouldn't even feel it because it's that
Nah,
fast.
that's not.
In your first look.
Fisk.
Can we charge so much for what amounts to gradations of white? I tell them it's not about the artist's name or the skill required. Not even about the art itself. All that matters is,
What makes you feel?
how does it make you feel?
Exactly. I wanted to say it, but I obviously I knew. There you have your introduction to Fisk. So, introduction to Fisk.
Yes. Like the way the episode sort of ended, that panned him. I'm interested to see a lot more about his character. I've only really had an introductory to him within the Spider-Man games. I don't believe I've ever had any sort of real representation aside from that. So I'm really interested to see delve into his character a lot, see his brutality. I mean, that guy, pierces his bloody whole brain, you know,
Just 'cause they're scared
on the fence, you know, and sort of imagination of what Fisk was going to do to him and his family, right? So
yeah, so you can kind of see that Fisk is kind of the guy in the shadows pulling the strings of Wesley, for example, and now Daredevil's finally got his name.
Yeah, very, very, very good fight scene. It's four times sort of throughout it. I think as you touched on, obviously the choreography. I think it's the most competitive fight scene so far.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited to see more of as well. You know, because we do see sort of his sort of human side. He's not like invincible. I mean, I remember Michael mentioning in sort of earlier episodes.
They show you like his.
Like he's sometimes breathing heavy. Like he's getting hit. He's bleeding. He's he's sometimes moments away from dying. He's nearly got poked through the face.
Yeah, what I really liked about that scene was the kind of the technical aspect of it. You know, both very good fighters. We got to see kind of a few more technical sides through the fight instead of it being kind of sloppy. Or I'm fighting someone who's just really easy for him to run through.
Yeah, I think also it's sort of a mix everything, I guess. But yeah, and then we also got obviously
just quickly. That's not me saying the fighting's sloppy by any means. The fighting's always amazing. The choreography's great. I'm just saying, for sure, I like it when he's fighting someone who's not at his level, but someone who is going to push his level, or who's a good fighter.
To get that sort of rage out from, because we've not really fully seen. I don't think the rage. I think we've got a lot more.
We've seen it a little bit, but just more to see the
I think like a fight between maybe him and Fisk will bring the full sort of like, you know, rage out, I guess, and we'll sort of, I'm guessing, like go up to that over time. And then we also got to see his other side, you know, his lawyer side, which I was hoping. I remember, you know, mentioning in the intro that I was excited to see the sort of lawyer side. I was not expecting suit name person Wesley. That's it. I did remember it throughout the episode, but I loved it. Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be the client, and obviously he's working for Fisk, I'm guessing. Obviously,
you've seen him in the car, and so on. Yeah, I love seeing Matt Murdock. Like we've seen a few bits of Matt Murdock through the first 2 episodes, but this was kind of a more Matt Murdock episode with a few bits of Daredevil from the Matt Murdock side. Because he was working as Matt, and he was taking the knowledge he got as Matt.
Lawyer by day, Daredevil by night.
And we got to see him at night fighting.
Yeah, and then also something that I was hoping for was a bit more scenes with Foggy and Karen, which, you know, it helps sort of build their relationships between each other and their sort of dynamic, which I quite like. I'm hoping to see that go forward, and hopefully we don't lose anybody. You know, I'm hoping for that. I don't think that'll happen. At least not for a while. How many seasons is Daredevil? 3 seasons. Okay, so you know,
should be more, but
yeah,
it's an amazing 3 seasons.
Yeah, I believe it. And yeah, I'm excited to see. You know, obviously probably going from this episode on, I believe we're going to see a lot more. Obviously, we'll see a lot more.
Yeah, when we saw in the open, we got to see his, like we've seen a little bits of, you know, his hand, his cuffling earlier. That's all we've seen when Wesley went into the car. But now we've seen his stature, his body, and him.
He looks massive.
Yeah,
and then also the first meeting between him and Daredevil, or between him and probably Matt first, I'm guessing, maybe because his lawyer side might come into contact with us before Daredevil's, you know, side to him comes.
You know what I really love
him,
is I love how careful Fisk is, and he's been, you know, operating these strings in
the shadows, right?
Yeah, pulling the strings in the shadows, but just by pure coincidence, he puts Matt onto him without even realizing, because he hires. Tells Wesley to hire these 2 good lawyers, but what he doesn't realize is that one lawyer is the one guy who could.
Do you know what? When Wesley initially came into the little box area where they were speaking, I thought, you know, why see they must be sort of looking into maybe the crimes that were happening, because obviously people were known about it, right? The detectives that knew about it. We had the newspaper that kind of were hearing rumbles and things.
No one can suspect Matt. He's
no,
a blind guy.
I know. I mean that with all the resources I think Fisk maybe has, he maybe suspected something to do with that. But obviously it was just blind luck, or it was blind sort of coincidence that was the case.
Blind.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Just pure coincidence that there's not a lot of, you know, clean lawyers, and Fisk being as smart as he is, he's thinking, okay, well, this guy has done something terrible. He orchestrated him to do it, to get him off and to make it look as good as possible. Let me get the 2 cleanest lawyers who are from New York, and that would happen to be Matt and Foggy. And it turns out, yes, they are probably the cleanest lawyers, but Matt is the vigilante who's been causing him all these problems, and now he's got his name because he's the one who put him on the case. It was none of that would have happened if Fisk didn't give them the case. it would have been a lot harder for him. But obviously, he's not going to know that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense why Wesley would go for someone like Matt and Foggy.
Yeah.
Like, as he was saying, they were new, they had no bad record, there's nothing against them or anything like that. So it made complete sense for that aspect of it. And yeah, so I'm excited to see maybe more cases in the future.
We also got our introduction to Ben Urich, who's a very good character.
Is that the reporter guy? Yeah, I'm interested to see his story a little bit more. Obviously, I feel bad for him with his wife, so that sort of brought out the emotional side to his character, I feel like, a lot better. Even in the initial scenes, to be fair, when he was communicating with his boss, I kind of felt for him, right? He wanted to publish a story that he was sort of...
He's trying to produce real, tangible news, and he's getting put on stuff that's kind of below him.
It's relatable in the real world as well. I'm sure that happens obviously tons as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it just kind of keeps on adding new characters each episode. We don't saw Claire this episode at all, which I was a bit surprised by. I thought we would maybe see at least a bit, but
yeah, she maybe probably return in the future. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, no, I'm guessing she will obviously.
The conversation that we were introduced to with Urich was he was speaking to kind of an old kind of mafia guy.
Yeah.
Who used to kind of run the city.
So obviously maybe more in the background now, but it still sort of has connections.
He's moved to Florida, and that's because mostly he's been pushed out because, and he told Urich to leave it because some fights get you bloody.
And just bloody.
And obviously, the idea was kind of later brought up of that. Like that when the guy killed himself, I can't remember his name.
The ginger guy.
Yeah, the ginger guy. He was like, you'll kill my family now. He was calling Matt a coward or Daredevil a coward.
Yeah, so I'm kind of worried, if
you can put the pieces together of who he might be talking about. If he's going after Ben Urich, if he's going after the story of that, I'm worried for his wife. Obviously that wasn't because we've seen the wedding ring on the stand. I'm sort of worried for him. So yeah, he's actually becoming even just in this one episode one of my sort of more favoured characters, I'd say. Yeah, it was really good. And you meant the name Rigoletto was brought back up. He's kind of you won't ever see Rigoletto, but he's a character that was brought up in the first episode as well.
Okay, yeah, I recognise the name a lot, but I've heard it in other media as well, like the Mafia series that I was playing recently has the name Rigoletto as well. So
yeah, it's quite a popular Italian name.
Yeah, especially from like things like New York based sort of show and things like that.
Yeah, so Rigoletto is basically a guy who was brought up in the first episode. I think he was probably killed or pushed out essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
By this new organization, I guess, which we can see Fisk is kind of at the helm of, and now the guy that Urich was talking to is moving to Florida, and also the guy who was talking to mentioned that the reason he likes Ben was because when he done his 10 years in jail, Urich was the only one who dragged his name without bringing his family into it. So that's why they have
good journalism, a connection.
So they're not like friends, but they have like a kind of
mutual respect, right?
A kind of a respect in some ways, but Ben's so old-fashioned. So when he was reporting on crime back in the day, obviously has his sources, but he respects Urich enough to, I guess, not to tell him or tell him to leave this alone because he doesn't want anything to happen to him. I wouldn't say they're friends, but they at least have a relationship.
Yeah, it definitely shows respect that he's willing to even do that, for him. He probably, reminisces about the older times as well, right? Like, even if he was his adversary, right? It was still sort of,
I wouldn't even say an adversary, just... he probably wasn't...
Maybe a thorn in his side somewhat.
Yeah, because obviously he's an investigative reporter, Urich, so he probably wasn't pleasant for mafia guys if he's reporting on.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least he has enough respect and dignity about him not to bring his family into it, so that's what he likes about him. And Urich's not past it, he's a legendary reporter, but we still seen on his wall he'd done the Battle of New York, and then recently done the Union Allied piece, so he's still getting good stories out there, but it's just not as much.
He said he's just getting put on what he was calling puff pieces, right?
Yeah, it's not great stuff he's getting put on all the time, but it's still relevant enough, I'd say.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that he gets his story out, eventually, but hopefully it doesn't cause him too many issues. But
yeah, but that was the introduction to Urich and Fisk and Rabbit in the Snowstorm. If you enjoyed that reaction, please drop us a like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Action.